Hello there and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. Either way, I'm super excited to have you. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Now, as you can see, for today we've got no face cam. This is just a speed build in The Sims 4, and I felt like face cam wasn't really necessary because I'm just going to be doing a voiceover. Let me know if you guys prefer face cam for these. I could probably record them, but it's not here in this video. This voiceover is going to be maybe a little bit of a mess. I'm just warning you right now, I am way too hyped today. It is currently 1:30 a.m., which isn't that crazy like internet time, but when you think about the fact that my day job requires me to wake up at 6:30, you'll understand the problem here. The problem is that I can't sleep, so I decided if I can't sleep, I might as well be productive. So in today's video, as you can see, we are building in Britechester. This is the world that came with Discovery University for The Sims 4. I am actually currently building a only Discovery University and base game house for this game. I have been really enjoying doing limited pack builds lately just because I feel like they add a really nice opportunity to really see what each pack has and if they're really worth it. And also makes the build so much more accessible because if you are looking for a house to place in Britechester, you know you can place this one because you have University and the base game and that's it. So we are just building here. I'm probably not going to talk about the build that much just because it is kind of generic looking. What we're seeing right now is pretty close to its final form. There's not a lot of super detail to this build. I do add some of the debug ivy that came with Discovery University a little bit later on, and also some flower boxes and stuff like that, but the shape of this house is pretty basic. It is a colonial, so it's definitely kind of boxy. I found a picture on Pinterest that I was like heavily inspired by, a real life house. I didn't recreate it directly or anything like that, but definitely the vibes. I wanted something that was kind of tall and skinny looking. Not that this house really even ends up being skinny looking, but it definitely accomplishes that tall vibe. As you can see in the kind of surrounding shell neighborhood, there's a bunch of townhouses and kind of taller builds, and I wanted something that felt not totally out of place in this area, but looked better than what was here before. No shade to EA, but just, you know, just a little bit of shade. So you can see we've got the window boxes there. I'm messing with the railings and the fencing and everything like that. When I do limited pack builds, oftentimes I uninstall everything except for whatever pack I'm using. So 100% this only has Discovery University in it because that was the only pack I had installed while I was building this. And honestly, the hardest part of these limited pack builds is the flooring. I never use base game flooring. Jungle Adventure flooring comes in clutch usually for me. A couple other packs too. Eco Lifestyles is pretty good, so is Island Living. I didn't realize how little I use base game flooring until it was my only option. This pack comes with the weird like hexagon carpet. It might come with the stone or something too, but all I can think of is the hexagon carpet, which is obviously not ideal most of the time. So this house is interesting. I wanted to go for kind of a traditional exterior, and then the common areas are a little bit more traditional, like the hardware is, like the bathrooms, the kitchen and stuff like that. But it looks like someone who owned this house kind of remodeled it and furnished it so that it could be used for like off-campus university housing. So you just saw right there, I was popping into the gallery. I couldn't find these vines in debug. I feel like I was scrolling forever. So I finally just found a room in the gallery and downloaded it from there. And you can see I'm dragging them all off and then putting vines on the walls. I think I ended up cutting some of this once I started going with the vines because it is pretty tedious, especially because they're debug. They don't snap to anything. But it's so worth it. I think that the vines that came with this pack are so pretty, and you can see the person who uploaded them sized them down so that they'd fit better, but sized up, they're just gorgeous. I'm a really, really big fan of the way this looks. I think it definitely adds to like the vibes. You can't see me because we don't have face cam, but rest assured I am still talking with my hands. Nothing can stop me. Even if you can't see my hands, they'll still be there. So we are on to the landscaping now. As you can see, I only showed you a little bit of it because it's identical all around the build. I just pick like a couple of bushes and flowers that I want to use and then place them in the spaces that they need to fit. So those kind of skinny, darker trunked trees are all over the surrounding world. The ones that are on the left right now, that you can, there we go, we can see it a little bit better now. Those are placed all around as like the environment in this world. So I definitely wanted to use some of those. And then on the other side, I did still tall and skinny trees, but that had a little bit more substance to them and also weren't quite as wide at the top, so they fit because there's actually only one grid space between the fireplace and the edge of the lot, or the fireplace, the chimney. So this build is filling almost this entire lot. There's not really much of a backyard. You can see right now it's basically just like a little side yard, but I thought it was really cute. There's the outdoor eating, an easel, a bike. I tried to add a decent amount of skill building items in here just because if you are using this for university, that would definitely come in handy. I believe there's 2 desks with computers at them. There's 3 beds in here. You could easily fit, maybe not easily, the bedrooms are pretty small, but if you tried to, you could probably sleep at least 5 Sims here if you got enough beds. I wanted to have more beds originally, but I didn't want to add a third story because it felt like too much for this house. So the first floor is medium wall height and then the top floor is short wall height because the tall wall heights are useless and that's the T. I never use them. There are no doors or no windows that work for them. Recently, I've actually been using the medium wall height a lot more than I used to. I rarely ever used it, and now I've been using it for like the bottom floor of builds a decent amount, and that's been a lot of fun. So as you can see, I'm doing a bathroom now, and you saw I picked the wallpaper and the flooring, and then went upstairs and put it there too, because the tea is that the bathrooms in this house are identical. There's two of them, they look exactly the same. Landscaping and bathrooms. I try to cut it so I only show me doing it once because it's the same all over the house. Sorry if I'm super stumbling. I'm going to turn this down a little bit, but again, 1:30 a.m. probably shouldn't be recording right now, but how about I do it anyway. And I was so mad. I wanted to use those big Discovery University curtains in this bathroom, but it was just too much. They're very small bathrooms. There's not enough floor space. I do use those curtains in other places to build, don't worry. So you can see the floor plan was super interesting, and I actually cut out all of the struggling I did with it because almost half of the time I spent building this house was the floor plan. It was just so tricky. The house is kind of small, and the upper floor is only part of it. So I don't know if you saw when we were doing the outside, but basically the part that isn't this main rectangle of the house is only on the ground floor and not on the upstairs floor. So it made it tricky to put a staircase anywhere. I feel like I always struggle with staircases and landings, and then because that defines the upstairs floor plan. Like once you have your staircase in place, you can pretty easily do an upstairs floor plan, but I was really struggling with where to put it because I knew I wanted to have at least one of the bedrooms down here and then either an office, or sorry, I wanted to have at least one of the bathrooms down here and then either an office or a bedroom. I ended up getting all three of those goals accomplished. There is one of the bedrooms, one of the bathrooms, and I say office, it's not an enclosed room, but one of the desks with a computer is down here in the living room. And then there is, I think there's one upstairs too. I might be lying. They might both be downstairs actually. I don't know. I guess I'll have to keep watching and find out. Oh, no. I think one of them is in one of the upstairs bedrooms. I put laptops on the desk, the laptops that come with this pack. They are really expensive, especially compared to the base game laptops, but I wanted to use them because they came with the pack and I was only using stuff from the pack. I mean, I say only. I was obviously using the base game too. This isn't like a no base game challenge, although that would be really fun. Maybe I should do something like that. But you can see here for the furnishing, some of it's this weird mashup between contemporary and more traditional. I wanted it to feel like, someone had bought it and the exterior was all still super traditional from whenever this house was built. And some of the furniture was still there. And of course, these college students who are living here left it because like free furniture we stand. But then some of the stuff clearly like that dining table and chairs have been here forever, but that they bought those bar stools at IKEA like last year because Jeff's mom was getting rid of them and she gave them to him for like $5 or something. Like that's the furniture in this house. I'm just surprised it's color coordinated as well as it is considering that. I mean, obviously that's not how this really works in the game, but in my head, I think that the idea of a lot of it being like secondhand furniture is kind of the vibe. Okay, so it looks like the two desks are actually almost directly across from each other in this downstairs area. So what I was talking about earlier, the whole living room area isn't present on the second floor. So the house is pretty small, especially when you get upstairs. This lot is a 20 by 15, but it's sideways so that the 20 is not at the, what am I trying to say? Normally a 20 by 15 lot, the 15 is at the front, and then the 20 is from the front yard to the backyard, so that your lot is longer. And this lot is wider instead of longer. That is what I mean. It took me a second, but I got there. In the gallery post, this is up on the gallery, by the way. My username is just saturniney, the same as here on YouTube if you want to download it. On the gallery post, I did mention that A, you need to place it with move objects on, and B, that it's for this lot. It's the Honeydew Fields lot in Britechester. It would work on any 20 by 15 lot technically, but I think it would look weird on one that isn't that kind of horizontal lot. You can see what I'm talking about there more as we were just looking at the street view. Then I added in this little cork board. I thought it was cute. I liked the idea of this being like kind of a clubhouse because obviously like if you have some college friends who are living in a house off campus and you're all living in dorms, like that's where you go to party. Like you obviously go to the off-campus housing. So that's what we're doing. I didn't make this any of the university like lot styles. There's different lots that you can pick, like the dorms, and I don't remember what they're called. It's been so long. But I just made this a normal house in case you didn't want to use it for that. But in my head, that was the story that we went with. And you can see we've got some of this exterior brick on the inside because I love an accent wall. And I'm warning you right now, I use this beige wallpaper almost everywhere. This house is upsettingly beige, especially considering that a lot of the wood I use is that kind of warm birch. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's definitely like beige wood with beige walls. I mean, some of it is darker like this staircase, but you can see the desk right now. Some of it is that color too, and it definitely feels like a lot of beige after a while. And I put this little table here in the landing. You can't access it. You definitely can't reach that mirror. You can see that there's only a tile of space right there. But I thought that it looked weird having it be completely empty, and I wanted to just do a decorative item because obviously your Sims can't use whatever you put there, but I didn't want it to be empty. I ended up putting a movie poster in the hallway. I thought that that was very something that a student would have. Most of these rooms have posters in them. I did create kind of like light themes, I would say, for the students who live here. It's all just the university furniture, and I didn't include a bunch of knickknacks because I figured you can decorate for your Sims when you come to the college, but I did add a couple of things, and there are definitely themes with like the posters and the color schemes in each of the rooms, so they aren't all the same. They all have the same, like one of the two university beds, the nightstand, one of the two dressers, you know. I use the university sets of furniture, but they're each a little bit different from each other. So this one is quite yellow, and you can see the yellow with the beige is definitely an interesting choice. And then you can see I pick a poster. I would pick like one poster, find a swatch I liked, match the bed to it, and then that was the vibe for the whole room. That was kind of the approach I took. So this is like the jocks room, the sporty ones. They've got like their backpack, and we end up putting a punching bag in the room, and then they've got athletic posters. So they're probably on the football team on campus. Is that even a club you can join? I haven't played with university in so long. Maybe I should do some gameplay videos of it or something. I know that you can like go to the games, but I don't know if it's one of the like, they're not clubs, they're like organizations or whatever it is. Anyway, the point is that this is like the jocks room. They're like majoring in I don't know, like sports conditioning or something. Like the kid who's just there to go, who's just at college to play on the college sports team, and then they've just picked like a somewhat relevant degree, but not really. All right, so this is the next room. This one is actually the biggest one, so I feel like if I was going to have Sims live here, this is the one I would pick. This one also has a desk in there. I don't think I put a computer on it because I felt like 3 computers was like kind of a lot, but you definitely could. Obviously, it's a desk, so you could use a laptop or a different kind of computer there, easy. This is the more like, I hesitate to say girly because like gender norms are stupid unless, you know, that's your vibe. I don't mean to invalidate anyone's gender identity, but for me, like a candle being girly isn't really a thing, but it is very like pink, purple, turquoise, that flamingo poster. I use a turquoise swatch for like that desk chair, the bed, as you can see, and this room. As you can see, the furniture that I've picked is all that like warm, light toned wood, so it definitely is like very beige. I thought about painting it, but I didn't want to ruin the vibes of the rest of the house because it's definitely like you couldn't paint it if you were living here just for college. So I feel like you just have to deal with it. Like this is just your life now. I'm sorry. You have you have almost yellow walls everywhere, and that's just the life we live. So I actually on the gallery I ended up calling this build Colonial College. No, I'm a fake content creator. I think it's called College Colonial. One of the two. I love alliteration. It's just who I am. But you can also search, like I said, my username, saturniney, or hashtag saturniney. It'll be the most recent thing on my gallery when this video goes up, so it should be pretty easy to find. I don't have a lot of stuff on there yet. I used to post on there more, but I went through and deleted some of it when I started making content on YouTube and Twitch because it was embarrassing. And then this is the downstairs bedroom. So while it's not the biggest, this one has the most privacy. So I don't know which one I would pick if I was having Sims live here. But you can see this is like the nerds room. Again, you know, I don't mean to like perpetuate stereotypes, but in my head, that's the stereotype. I put like the robotics poster, the Brainiacs poster, and that rocket ship one. I ended up going with this darker wood and the green just because I was so tired of like the beige. It was really too much for me, the beige and the yellow. So we went with green. We changed the vibe a little bit. I think this room might be my favorite. It has more posters in it, and I really like that about it. So you can see that was the end of the build. It was pretty fast. So thank you so much for being here and watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave me a like and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to. Remember to have fun, stay positive, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye!